I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second that motion.
And we'll keep it open for 5-6 minutes, see what happens. So should we take a bet as to how much snow we're going to get this week?
I don't think much.
I don't know.
They said an inch tomorrow, but then they also said it's going to be in 40.
Saturday.
Because I was,
You're supposed to get snow?
No, it's supposed to be 40.
Oh,
so I was surprised to see last night's snow.
yeah. Well, it's the hurricane.
Well, that's
New York
someplace
City.
else, yeah.
Well, New York City got the most of it.
Yeah.
But we just got like what we got.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank God.
I was telling Joanne earlier, our niece lives goes to Columbia. She's from Hammond.
Yes.
She doesn't understand what the big deal is. This isn't even newsworthy. Is there a fifth microphone by chance? Just put one in front of Joanne.
I'm sure there is, because we have enough for the board. I'm sure there is.
I would suggest we do that so she
When she,
has to do her thing.
no, that's perfectly fine.
I just assume not talk.
I didn't appreciate that. Yeah. So listen to this. I was talking to DeWitt Litt, and the basketball here was behind his bar. He was standing on the edge of the ice behind his bar. He took the picture. He couldn't believe it. He said, I went and got an extension ladder because I was afraid they were going to go in. He said, I was going to do is throw the ladder. I couldn't believe it.
That's risking a little too much for a perch.
Man, I couldn't believe that. Behind that boat, it's like this. Behind his, that landing machine, big giant thing.
There was a forest of tulips back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Street was full.
The ice has so much snow on it now that when you go out there and you drill, it all comes up. The weight of the snow is causing ice to bow. So you have ice, and then you have a 4 or 5 inch layer of slush, and then you have the snow on top of that.
We watched some guys side by side start to get going and just digging in.
Oh yeah. And then it just clogs.
That's not good.
They need a tow.
Well, thank you. I spent enough time in ice cold fishing ice rinks, and so ice fishing just does not appeal to me anymore. See, do I lick my wounds and rest up, or do I go sit on a frozen lake and get cold again? Easy choice.
Once you get warm, you're not.
Apparently there's a ton of people out there.
finished there yet. We crossed over in Canada on Monday, and it was pretty easy.
Well, I think we'll close the public hearing. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty. Jeff?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. So, the big exercise for January was establishing the future EDUs going into fiscal year 27. So this is kind of the first step in planning our planned revenues for what we could expect in our water and sewer department. So after running the usage reports, it looks like we are going to gain a net increase of 20 sewer EDUs and 22 water EDUs. The majority of this is, in fact, the town of Clayton, as we mentioned earlier, they had a leak in their pool. And so they are aware of this overusage of their water. We did work with them on kind of withdrawing from their sewer EDUs and adding those sewer EDUs onto their bathroom. So it was kind of it ended up being kind of a match. This year they did go over with their leakage. I plan on next year probably seeing a little bit of a decrease in their water EDU rate over at the pool. However, we will pick up increased sewer rates from the bathhouse there. So that I asked if the board would review that and suggest any further editing or review before we issue letters to these customers whose EDU rates are in fact going to change, whether they go up or down. The village clerk's office typically notifies them of the change every year. So I kind of outlined in tabular form all the changes that were going to take effect in the report I issued last week. And this year it was fairly straightforward. A lot of times we have customers that identify leaks earlier in the year. There's sometimes that we sit down, we work with them if we can't get to the repair in time. This year was pretty straightforward. It was pretty much black and white. We didn't have any erroneous reading meters. We didn't lose communications with the majority of our meters. This is in fact a pretty good year for record keeping as far as this usage goes. And it's another key component for the benefits of the Badger water meters that we're using now that are live action collecting this usage for us. So it puts it right at our fingertips. We did have a couple noted repairs this past month. Of course, with the weather, with the freezing, we had a couple freeze-ups in the sewer line. Over on Union Street, I expect to see some invoices coming from Pitchers and Hazelwoods as a result for the customer. We did determine that the block was on the village's side where it enters into the sewer main. So we did relieve that clog for her with the help of Pitchers, and we're going to remedy that for her as well. But other than that, if there's any questions to the status report or the EDU report, I know this past month was kind of hectic. We had a lot of our end of the year reports to issue for Department of Health or DEC. I won't bore you with that stuff, but water treatment, chemical, water usage, discharge information, all the stuff they require from us every year. We did learn just recently as well that they are going to be putting another testing parameter on our wastewater system. So starting this June, we are going to be taking PFOS, PFOA measurements from the sewer plant, as well as 1,4-dioxane in both the influent and effluent ends of the plant. And they will be tested quarterly for the next 2 years. And depending on how we test, DEC will regulate how we move forward with this testing, if they're going to keep it within our exercise or not. More to come on that. It's just an added expense for our lab fees. It's fairly expensive testing they want us to run.
Any questions for Jeff?
I just had one clerical thing. 2.2 mixed use commercial. I think account number 120, isn't that Finn's laundromat? It's still listed as Chris's service station.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Just update that, please.
So, the name is wrong, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
The name on the account, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, so simply this, when I pull this data, I'm pulling it from the MuniLink system, and so when I upload it onto the existing account spreadsheet, it holds the prior names that were established for that account, so I will go and correct that. But rest assured that the usage for that account is correct, that account.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't
We can change
surprise
it.
me.
We can change it.
Okay,
Okay, we'll change it for you.
sure.
Yeah. And if they're okay with the EDUs, we'll just need a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion to accept the EDUs as given.
In a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're all set, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Any questions on the DPW report? They're doing, as you know, plowing snow, sanding, removing the snow, sanding. Yes. Any questions on the police report? Dustin will be taking his chief's test, actually both of them, on Saturday.
Good. Yes.
But the results won't come out until June or July, because the entire state takes it. Takes June or July to get that settled. Any questions on the consent agendas 1 through 3?
No.
No, me.
Could I have a motion for those?
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion for capital projects?
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Alrighty, we're down to new business. So we'll make a motion and vote on resolution to enact local law number 1.
Who wants to introduce the resolution or offer the resolution?
I'll offer the resolution.
Okay. And second it?
One second.
I'll second it.
And a roll call vote. Mayor Hyde,
Yes.
trustee McDowell,
Yes.
trustee Booster,
Yes.
and trustee Rickford.
Yes.
And then we have local law number 2. Could we have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion to introduce local law 2.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And a roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne.
Mayor Hyde,
Yes.
trustee McDowell,
Yes.
trustee Rickford,
Yes.
and trustee Rick.
Yes.
And for resolution to enact local law number 3, would like to offer this.
I'll offer.
And second?
Second it.
And roll call vote, Mayor Hyde,
Yes.
trustee McDowell,
Yes.
trustee Ritter,
Yes.
and deputy mayor Duford. Sorry, I've been saying trustee. Okay.
Yes.
Great, thank you. So we should plan at some point in the near future to get we'll have a workshop and start working on the fines and then sign up for the pre-program and go from there. Sound like a plan? Alrighty. And then we need a motion for the January financials
I'll make a motion.
and a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. I was speaking to a past, to a past board member. He was on a number of years ago, and I asked him about the, doing anything with the prison, and how come there wasn't a contract? Because that's been brought up numerous times. And the answer was, I don't know. No one can tell me. I've checked with a few people who were here years ago, and no one knows why there was never a contract with the prison. Because again, that's been brought up, you know, what would happen. Yeah, just an FYI. Let me see, I don't have a lot. Next Friday, a week from Friday, we have a budget meeting. I don't think Trustee McDowell McDowell will be here, Trustee Riddock, you'll be here, won't you? Next Friday, a week Friday, at 10 o'clock.
Got a thing.
You got a thing?
Yeah.
I know you have a thing.
27?
No, the 4th, a week from Friday.
Yeah, I'll be with the students.
Yes. And that's at 10 o'clock?
March-
Yes,
March
yes.
6th?
March 6th.
Oh, my apologies. Yes.
What time
March
is it?
6th?
10,
That's a budget workshop at 10?
yes.
Okay. So, the end is June, end of June?
The end.
It's
End of May.
Oh, the end of May.
The end
we
of
have
May,
to-
the budget?
Yeah. We have
Yes.
to adopt it by the end of May.
Yes, or before that.
It's usually the, yeah, or before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We usually do the last meeting in May.
We will be having an LWRP open house on Tuesday, no, Wednesday, March the 4th. And that will go from 4 until 7. And it's an open house for the community to come in, take a look at proposals, and have a better understanding of what the LWRP entails. There will also be another one, I'm not sure when, but in the future, there'll be another one also.
I was, hopefully it's in, towards the summer, so that.
I think so, and yes, I think so.
Right.
Yes, it's, yes.
So that's here, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. It's here at the municipal building from 4 to 7. We have Tug Hill Conference coming up in April. That's April 20th and 21st. But the big day is the 21st, which is a Tuesday. So if anyone would like to go to that, just go to Joanne and she'll get you signed up.
21st, you said?
Yes, I believe it is. It's a Monday,
That's the
Tuesday.
Turning Stone?
Yes, it's at Turning Stone.
I think, is that the one Mike
Yes,
and Dave are going to?
yes.
Okay.
The food pantry opens officially tomorrow. We're excited. Opens officially. So that's exciting. No more appointments. It's for the public to be open. That's going to be good.
Is it still at St. Mary's?
Yes, it's still at St. Mary's, yes. Let's see, at the last essential housing meeting we had, and I didn't bring we talked about, there were some things that were in the essential housing pamphlet report that they thought that possibly the village could do. And one of them was to look at our codes and see what needs to be updated, changed, et cetera, et cetera. So that when we had that conversation, we decided that we would have 2 village board members, 2 members from the planning board, and 2 members from the town board to look at these codes and make the suggestions. So think about it if any of you would like to be on that, and let me know.
So that's gonna be, specific districts,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, yes. And I also think variances and just everything that's encompassed with your codes. We've had a few members of the community suggesting that things need to be streamlined so there's not so much for a contractor to go through to get permitting. I'm not sure that I'm for that, but that would also be for that group of people to decide and to look at all the codes and see, should we go that direction or should we not? Because I think going that direction could have some negative impacts for a community.
The if the properties need to be subdivided, that'd be something that we want to look at.
Well, I've given you, you already read the subdivision one.
Correct.
And I need to pass it on to these two. Mike is gonna be looking at it, I've sent it out to Bill Grader to look at. So we did get information from the lawyer, and it needs to be looked at to see, yes, is this what we want, or is this, no, we don't want this. So that's kind of sort of in the works. I think Bob's gonna talk about the intermunicipal agreements.
Yeah, we met with, first of all, there was no chamber meeting this month. They didn't have a quorum. Half the folks were ill and the other half were out of town. So they canceled it for this month. Secondly, Ron and I met with the supervisor and Kevin Patton regarding the intermunicipal agreements. We agreed that some of them need to be looked at. We encouraged them to do that. There were 6 that we went over. They weren't, there were actually 7 we went over. The 7th one is ours with the fire department, and we asked them to consider, after ours is up, our 5-year agreement is up in 27, that perhaps the town could take over for us as a fire department for the next 5 years. Whether they'll do that or not, I don't know. But then we have a decision to make, and we have to make it sometime later this year. What we're going to do after 27. So the agreement calls for us to make a change by August if we're going to do it. The meeting went well. We're going to. They're going to talk to their board. We probably need to have a workshop with our board. I would suggest to take a look at each of these agreements if you haven't seen them. I'd be happy to arrange to get you copies. But they are basically what we do with the town and how we break that up. There's one that particularly has to be changed, and that's the shop agreement. We talked with them at length about the fact that it was probably Steve and Terry at the time that the agreement itself says that we do not share anything to do with the vehicles or the equipment. We don't share anything. We're all on our own. And not that it's a bad thing, but they apparently figured out that if they buy oil together, they can get it cheaper. And if they buy grease together, they can get it cheaper. And that's wonderful, but that's not what the agreement says. So we probably at this point need to go back and change the agreement and say that we'll agree to do those things. But the process has to be that if anybody wants to do something that's outside the agreement, for example, buy grease, what they really need to do is go to their respective boards and say, hey, we got a great idea, we can save a bunch of money. And I really doubt that either of the boards are going to say, no, we don't want to do that. But the process has to take place, and it has to close the loop back to the intermunicipal agreement, because as I mentioned to Nancy and to Tim, I do not doubt Justin's word that he said at the town meeting that night that they looked at these regularly. But what didn't happen was the loop was never closed to the agreement, because that's not in the agreement, even that people had looked at it and updated. It might be on the town side, but it never made it to the village. So we need to do those things collectively. At least once a year. We looked already at the historian's agreement, and that was updated. But if we're going to do anything to change that, that we had talked about shortly after she became the historian, then that can be done. That's not a problem. But then the loop has to be closed between the two organizations, and that has to show up on the intermunicipal agreement. It's just the way it has to be that way. After we all leave these positions, people in the future are going to want to know what happened and how did it happen. And right now, as an example, bring up the shop again, that didn't follow the course. And so now we have to go back and fix it. But the correct way to do it for any one of these agreements is for everybody involved to say, I got to go to the board and ask. Probably no doubt that they're going to get an affirmative answer and then move on. next thing I have is the mayor asked me to write a draft of the short-term rental agreement. I did that. You can look at this and decide what you want to do. I mean, it's a draft. It's the first pass. If you want to join to it. And I just wrote it in the same order that all of our other ordinances are in. Take a look at it, change it, do whatever you want. I guess at some point in the future, we'll talk about it as a group.
Yes, I think so. And how this came about was at the last essential housing, it was brought up. What's going, and I just said, send me the information, and we as the village will work on it.
So, I would recommend not take my word for this. When we decide the parameters as a board, then
Yes.
it really needs to go to the lawyer and look at it. I put in everything that I thought should be involved in this, and I also referred to the ordinances that already apply to motels and hotels in the village. And as a reference for these two as well. So look at it, take a look and see what you want to do.
And where Bob got the information, we received it from another essential housing member who had taken a lot of information that Tim had given him. Back when Tim first started, he brought us in a stack of what he had learned about Airbnbs. And this person put it into more of a spreadsheet, and that's what Bob took that information and put it into here. So that's where this information came from. And we'll check with it. I will be checking with the county very shortly about what are they doing. So, thank you very much for doing that. Very good. Mr. Riddock?
Okay, I'm going to report on Hahn Memorial Library. They had a meeting on Wednesday, February 18th, and there was a lot of discussion about the building at the time. We, of course, the village, of course, owns the building, and they're having problems with waste buildup on the roof and the roof leaking, and they're also having some furnace problems that have been repaired now. There is some discussion about the village paying for part of their propane to cover those costs. And there's some good things going on at the library. They are using the humongous blue blocks from NCLS, and those are fun things for the kids to be playing with. They're like Legos that are giant. So a lot of those are being put to use, and that's all.
Now, just an update for the board. They were having furnace problems, and they notified us. And so we had a local contractor look at it. I think it took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to, you order the part, and then you put the part in. There were a few days that they closed because it was too cold in there, but it is up and running well. And Rob knows more than I do about what type of furnace they have. Checking with Terry roughly to replace the furnace, he says 25,000 right now. I don't know. It's humongous. But I don't know enough. So we're looking at that, but because of the cost, it may not be done immediately. But everything is working fine as of right now.
And I think you have to take into consideration if the furnace isn't working and we purchased a part and had it installed and now it is working, okay, then
Correct.
that's sufficient for now.
Yes.
If it's breaking down all the time,
Right.
every week, every other week, and they're constantly in danger of the building freezing up and having to shut down, well, that's another discussion. And with a purchase like $20,000, probably more, for the decision I wanna make just off the cuff. So
No, you're
good.
absolutely correct.
It is getting old, it's a 25-year-old furnace.
Who did who went down there to take care of that furnace?
Woodley D.
Okay, did he do a survey of that?
Terry has all that information.
Okay, so
I
somebody
do.
looked at it and said.
Oh, yeah, it hasn't, it's not just,
The condition, I mean,
yeah, and I think we're gonna move it to Hidestone also.
I would definitely put that out to bid. My house is about the size of that library.
No, I'm sorry, we're not looking at a new furnace as of yet. The reason he was thinking of going with Hidestone is because they service all of our buildings here, and they do it rather quickly. There was some time gap between Woodley D, which became a problem. But no, we're not getting a new furnace right away.
I was gonna say
Or,
that
I'm sorry.
Mike Hazelwood, when I was still working, came to our house many times and finally said, you know, it'd be a lot cheaper if I just replaced this. And it wasn't anywhere near $25,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like $4,000 to replace the furnace for a propane in a building that's probably close to the same size.
Well, it has something to do with, but I'm limping through the conversation, the central air and the this and the that.
You wouldn't replace the central air, would you?
Well, I think it
Sometimes
was
it
probably
bothers.
like my furnace. It was,
It's all connected.
yeah. If you have additional questions, you could call Mr. DPW supervisor tomorrow.
Yeah, that seems pretty steady.
And that's all I know. And part of the reason they went through a lot of propane this year is it's been rather chilly. And they're not taking, they don't seem to want to take that into account, that it's been cold.
They don't pay for the heat.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do?
Oh, they pay for all their propane, yeah, oh, yes. they do.
Oh, okay.
So, there's a couple of things going on with that, you know, yeah, they pay for their own propane.
They pay for water sewer.
Yeah. I mean, think of they're leasing the building from us, and it's our responsibility to keep the building maintained, but it's not our responsibility to pay their utilities and whatever else is additional within there.
Definitely paying all their utilities.
Yes, they are, yes, yes.
yesterday, again, there was no zoning applications for this time period, which is typically slow for this time of year anyways. And the only other thing I had is that I talked to Terry about the marine bubbler down there that we talked at the last meeting, and he got a hold of Kevin and talked to Kevin, and Kevin was discussed that the liability that the village would probably have to take on by doing the signage. So I think that it's been dropped. And I can understand, we always tend to find liability whenever we identify something as a problem, such as swimming. And that's it.
I forgot to also mention that the weekend of 13th, 14th of March is Irish Festival, and there'll be a parade that Saturday. Please pray for nice weather. We might have a few snowbanks, but let's not have it. Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yes. Do we need to have a workshop before the next meeting, or do that, let's see, the end of March or April?
You guys have one next Friday,
Yes.
the 6th.
Yeah, that'd be a lot to do a workshop that Monday.
Yeah. So then you're looking at, the next board meeting the 9th. So you could do one the 9th, and then the next board meeting's the 23rd.
We'll think about it. Maybe we'll do the 23rd, but we don't have to make that decision today.
Okay. For the,
for a
policies.
workshop. Yeah, for policies and just a variety of information we're pulling together.
Yeah.
Just, we discussed traffic.
Right. And these,
Continuing
the local laws that we just enacted, we definitely need to work on them, because unfortunately, life is going so fast, it'll be winter before we know it again.
What do you mean work on?
Well, we need to discuss fines and
Oh,
how all
okay.
of that's gonna be implemented, and then signing up for Creed, which doesn't seem difficult,
Okay.
and just getting it organized for the future.
Because I'm sending these back to the lawyers
Yes.
saying they're approved and then
Yes.
to the state,
Yes,
so they.
so we'll wait till all that comes through, and then we'll
Yeah.
move forward with our discussions.
So Ron mentioned the traffic patterns, but
Yes.
it reminds me that we also, at some point, need to have are we going to get an update from Brian Jones about this building?
Well, we got the update, we met with him a while ago. We got the update, and now we're just waiting for funding to come out and see, and we could easily share it. I thought we had shared that with you.
I didn't see it.
Okay, we'll get that to you. But now we're waiting for funding to come out, and the funding should start sometime in the spring, and see what we can get or we can't get.
So Dave has proposed some enforcement letters for junk vehicles, et cetera. Are we waiting for him to return?
Unfortunately, yes, because, yes.
There's, in doing this thing here with short-term rentals, I noticed that there's some cleanup in our ordinances we need to go through.
Okay.
One in particular is that our ordinance for swimming pools doesn't require a fence. I think the state does, but we don't.
I know, that's been a bit of a,
So we need to probably.
if it's something like it's a 4-foot high pool, it doesn't require a fence, but I always thought you had to have a fence.
Well,
And when I've had
in the
fences,
attachment to this, it
So.
talks about pools at hotels and motels, doesn't say anything about fence. And the outdoor pools, so.
like, yeah, those are,
And-
yes.
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah, I'd like to see the update from Brian, see what he has to say.
No, his proposal was very good, and it was just predominantly the meat of the whole building. He came in around $1 million, if we were to do everything that he suggested, yes. But we'll get a copy of that to you. It was good. So, anybody want to give us $1 million? No one's here. Anything else you'd all like to talk about?
You had given me a document to look at for the docks and for the American boat launch.
Right. And I haven't, I first want you to know, you're correct, I would never have signed any of that. This was definitely the beginning draft. Okay, this was not, yes. And I haven't gone through it. I spoke with RJ Marine today, and we're gonna get together and look at some of these things.
Are they our agent?
Yes.
Do we have an agreement with them as our agent?
Probably not.
I think that puts us in a difficult position. That document that document is for Bar Harbor, Maine.
Oh, I understand that. No, because we wanted to have a contract with the American Cruise Line. So they took it from Bar Harbor, Maine. And this was just the very beginnings to look at it and see, okay, what is the contract? That's why,
I think it's great that they're doing all this
you
kind
know,
of stuff.
saw all that go through. But no, a lot of this would be taken out.
One other thing that we need to consider here is, I think, I heard that we got some money from the St. Lawrence Seaway or from the Coast Guard for that dock to make
No, it was the St. Lawrence Seaway.
And,
That's why those big Anchorage,
yeah, so there needs to be, in
We got
any agreement with anybody, there needs to be language in there that says, in the event of emergency, they gotta leave.
well, we should look at that. We were discussing that. There is a document that they must have done with the agreement when they gave us the money for building that. And that was the very beginning of the docks down there.
So there's a port file somewhere, a commercial port file somewhere, and maybe Kevin has it, I don't know. But if there's money involved, there's gotta be, because they park the buoys there.
Yeah, the stipulation was, and I haven't read the document or anything, but the idea was is that under emergency, this is a deep water port that they can actually come in and
Right.
get equipment
Right.
and man and power and everything else that is needed for an oil spill or something of emergency on the river. And I don't know what the agreement that the village made with them, but I know there was one. So we should actually look at that and make sure that that works with the
Sure.
document.
I would just strongly suggest that we make sure that our attorney is aware that we are giving them some sort of rights to that dock. I don't think they should have, in my opinion.
Now, what do you mean by rights?
If they are our agent for who comes to that dock, that's what it sounds like to me in this agreement. That agreement is between the town of, in the main town and the boat line. It's not between their whoever's doing this work for them.
Well,
And that's why the
the Bar
town-
Harbor may do their own. You know, we've never had any kind of contracts with anybody. So that's why this is just absolutely correct. Cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. Absolutely correct. But Bar Harbor, I think, gets more cruise ships than what we have had in the past. And I know I don't think we've ever had documents for Pearl Mist and anyone.
It's probably time that we did that kind of
There's
stuff.
some, I saw that
Have you?
Pam,
I've never seen any, but
I've seen files on the ships that come in, and
Okay.
Pam did some kind of figuring that Kevin gave her.
well,
Who's Pam?
Pam,
Prevail.
the Veil, she used to be the deputy clerk.
Okay.
So I can look at that
Yeah.
and see what kind of information, if you wanna stop over and
Sure.
I can give you the
Yeah, I'll
files,
take it again.
because they don't make sense to me at all,
Yeah.
but.
And
also Kevin, you may wanna talk to him about it, like, how did you do this, you know?
Yeah,
well,
so-
let's see what that file has to say. Yeah.
I just think that anything to do with that dock has to be strictly between the village and the ships, period. And we don't.
Well,
If whatever anybody else does to service those ships or go get them lunch or whatever, I don't really care. I care about our liability and the taxpayer-owned dock, and that the check from those ships comes from them to the village. And we don't look like someone we have an agent that we have no contract with. And so that, to me, that's a huge liability.
That agent also is doing service.
yes.
Wonderful for them, but
That could be
not as a
separated.
representative of the village, is
Right,
what I'm
that could be
saying.
separated. I mean,
Right.
things can go on the way they were, except for the fact that the village will take responsibility for this.
Yeah, for the agreements with the, to
Right,
land
no.
the boat there, that's all. You
Right.
land the boat there, you tie up, and this is what we're gonna do, and this is what we won't do. We'll provide you water, it's metered. We're not providing you anything else, period. And we have to have stuff in there, though, especially if I don't know the detail of what the Seaway gave us, but in the event of a catastrophe, they gotta cut loose and get off the dock, you know, and I don't care what the agreement says, but we need to know that ahead of time. So that's really what I'm concerned about. And the other thing too is that agreement calls for exclusivity, and that you can't moor out in Frenchman's Bay. Well, as soon as I saw that, I realized this is the Bar Harbor agreement, because Frenchman's Bay is up in Bar Harbor.
But again, this is just a complete, knit down to the bare basics, and then we build up, because no one knows how to build it up. That's.
Then let's work on it together, and I
then,
don't really
yes.
think we need RJ Marine's help to do that.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind. our help, your help, you know, I don't mind at all.
You know, one of the things was exclusivity for the dock. I mean, I don't know how big their dock is, but we can certainly handle more than one boat.
Yeah, yes. And when we met with them, we did say that, but I understand it's not in this. But again, we tailor it for us, not for Bar Harbor. It needs to be tailored for us, not for anyone else. But we told them that because the dock is big enough. You get a super yacht that wants to come in for 5 days. There you go.
I just think we ought to polish all that stuff. You know, why not? Why not?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having some good transparency on what we're doing down there for the public, because they did get a little upset with that, and there's a lot of the fact of just not knowing what was going on. So getting that information out to the public will help everybody.
You're such a good man.
It's good PR,
Pardon?
good PR.
Yes, you're such a good man. Anything else? Alrighty. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? No, I keep it.
So Robert heard your wife's stuck in Tennessee.
Yeah, the whole family's pretty stuck in Tennessee. Luke is driving out now.
Oh.
He's really concerned about